Hi, I'm Tony Coccagna, and welcome to another special edition of the Coach Tom McConnell Show. This is the Final Four edition. I'm here with IUP coach Tom McConnell, and we also have some special guests here today, IUP's three seniors who will join us in a bit. Coach, you not only won a regional championship, you made it to the Final Four, 30 wins in a season as a school record, number 3 ranking in the final poll, uncharted territory for IUP women's basketball. Lofty accomplishments for this group. You made a lot of memories that last a lifetime.
That's one of the best parts about this entire experience is you have an opportunity to travel, you have an opportunity to meet people, you have an opportunity to experience different cities and play against teams that are really at a high level, and so from all those experiences, you know, you grow. So it's been very special, and I just give our players so much credit for just sacrificing for one another, playing for one another. I think it's a great example of that when you play for one another, when you let go of your own agenda, so to speak, and play for the good of the team, amazing things and special things start to happen, and this group just exudes that. And the other thing that I think they did, Tony, was the year before we had finished the season 24-7, and we always ask our players to, I shouldn't say our player, but our upperclassmen to, in our very first meeting, stand up and talk about your vision of what you want this year to look like. And so the year before, when we finished 24-7, our upperclassmen did that. And one of the things that we didn't notice until later after the season was they wrote, one of their goals was to make a run in the NCAA tournament. Everything else they had written was very tangible and could be measured, but what does make a run mean? And so we talked about that, and our theme became, let's take the limits off of what we can do and what we can be. No small thinking, no fearful thinking, no negative thinking. Let's believe, and this group did that. And so for me as their coach, to be able to experience that with them and see a group of young women, you know, really achieve something very special and memorable was just a great privilege.
Yeah, it was quite a run. Let's talk about that first game in the Elite Eight, the Stonehill game. You won at 75-71. Got up to a big lead in the first half. Second half, it just seems like everything is just starting to go against you. But yet you found a way to pull it out. How'd you do it?
Well, first of all, the team that we played was a very, very good team. Stonehill, winners of the NE10 conference and obviously their region, but they have 2 outstanding guards along with a very dominant front line. And so our players were really focused and came out playing with a lot of confidence, executed well, built a 14-point halftime lead, just played really, really good defense. We just tried to eliminate any touches. We noticed in the scouting report that 70% of their offense went through their high post, the elbows. And so I thought our players, you know, Megan, Lexi, Brittany, Maura, Kendall just did a really good job of limiting their touches and making it very difficult for them to score. Well, they adjusted at halftime and went to some other things and did a lot of ball screens and were able to isolate their point guard, Kelly Martin, one-on-one, and we had a difficult time containing her. We ended up fouling a lot, disrupted the rhythm of the game. They were scoring with the clock stopped and were able to get back into it. And our players just were so determined in the huddle, you know, just watching them talk to one another and saying, this is it, we're going to get the stops that we need and we're going to come together. It just, you know, was great to see. And just made some big plays, some big shots. Carolyn came up with a big steal down the stretch to give us the ball back when they were only up one, or we were only up one. So it was just a great win against a really good team. And afterwards, it dawns on you. You know what? We're going to the Final Four. So there was just great exhilaration and joy in our locker room. We were just, thrilled to be moving on and representing IUP.
Was that game kind of like a microcosm of the season where you're coming down the stretch, you just have that focus, that singular focus that we're going to get the job done?
I think so. I think that's a good call. I mean, and I think that has a lot to do with our players. And if you notice, like a lot of our games during the year, teams would make a run at us on the second half. There was never any panic. Very unflappable group, and just kept their poise, kept believing, and just, I think is a credit to their grit, the toughness that they have going down the stretch. They're a veteran group, and they believe that it's going to work out.
Then you get Ashland, the defending national champion. They've won 72 straight games. It's going to be a tough one. Didn't go as well as you would like. And it had to be hard afterward, knowing that was your last game with that senior group.
Yeah, we did not, and I think as we look back on it, we did not play our best. And I'm sure, we'd like to have that back, because now you're in the Final Four, chance to go to the national championship game. We have great respect for them. They're just a special program. They play at a very high level. We were not at our best, and I thought they played really, really well. So that game ends, and as a coach now, you're processing two different things now. This game that you just played and didn't go the way you wanted to go, and now you realize as you're standing there in the locker room that this is the last time you're going to talk to, Megan, Audrey, and Hallie, and this is the last time they're going to put that uniform on, and we're not going to be able to do that. So that emotion is very powerful. So I just, that's something I'll always cherish, and I'm just very proud of those three and the things that they've done and the way they've done them and the impact, that they've had on our program. They've taken us to heights that we could only hope for, when they arrived on the scene several years ago.
A few weeks ago, you told me the story about how you discovered Megan Smith, that you weren't really going to see her. Can you share that story?
She's probably getting tired of me telling this story, but I love telling it because I think it's a great story. And, I was hired in June, and July 5th rolled around, and it's the first day of the recruiting period, and I drove out to Manheim, Pennsylvania to Spooky Nook, and the Blue Chip event was going on, and I get my book, and I'm ready to go in and just watch games, and I really wasn't going to see anybody in particular. I was just going to watch and really wanted to identify some of the top players in the state of Pennsylvania. As fate would have it, as I walked in at the same time was a friend of mine, Bill Finley, who's the head coach at Iowa State. We started talking, and he was going to Court 3 to watch a young lady from Florida, and I went with him just so we could continue our conversation. And so we're visiting, and the game's unfolding, and he's watching this girl from Florida, and they're playing a team from Central PA, and I'm watching and talking and watching and talking, and this 6'1" player just kept catching my eye. She's shooting threes, she's driving it to the basket, she's rebounding it, she's taking it the length of the floor, she's going behind her back. I'm like, I love this girl. Who is this? And I get my book out and I look, and Megan Smith, West Perry High School. Well, I circle it down, and I couldn't wait to get out of there and for that event to end so I could call. And when I called, they weren't home. And so I left a very lengthy, passionate message about what I thought of her and her game and my first impressions and how much I wanted to meet her and how much I wanted to be her coach. And several weeks later, they came out for a visit, and the rest is history. And she has made her mark on IUP women's basketball. And I've said this many times, Tony. One of the reasons we have an amazing team, but not everybody has a Megan Smith. Not everybody has a stretch four that can shoot it, handle it, block shots, go inside, outside. And I think what speaks to that is she's the only player, how unique she is. She's the only player in IUP history to make over 100 threes and have 100 block shots in a career. That's rare. That's special. And so, just glad she was with us. Glad she was on our team.
You lose those three seniors, but you have your core back. Carolyn Appleby, your point guard, Laura Wallasick at the two, Brittany Robinson in the post. You also have Mara Deanna, Lexi Griggs, Kendall Hunter back. Plus it looks like Courtney Alexander, Madison Kerr will be available after battling some injuries in their first 2 years. You have a pretty good recruiting class coming in, so we're going to do this again next year, right?
Let's just enjoy this one right now, But I think we have a good nucleus, and every year's different, every team is different, and that's one of the fun things about coaching is taking a new group and, building it. We played differently this year. We did some different things this year than we did a year ago, even though we had everybody back. We didn't just roll it out or, we tried to get better and to try to grow. And so, there's a good nucleus that, gives you a chance and you can be competitive. But as we've talked about many times, we know how challenging Wednesday nights and Saturday nights are whenever you're playing in the PSAC. There's some really good basketball. But we look forward to it.
Yeah, this group has really elevated IUP on the national stage. How do you stay there now?
I don't look at it as, how do we stay there? You know what I mean? Is the thing that we talk about all the time is let's grow, let's get better. If everybody coming back gets better just 1%, then that makes us better. And so that'll be our message, moving forward. We've had a good experience. We've had a good, memorable Atlantic Region Championship and into the NCAA tournament. But, we want to get better. We want to grow. We want to just keep challenging ourselves.
Last time we were here, I thought it was going to be our last show, and I told you then that I would ask you one more time, the same as I do at the end of all our interviews after games. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, you know what there is.
I knew there would be.
This is the first time I think there is. I just, I want to give a shout out to a number of different people. One, our IUP administration for making all this possible and all the work that they did before, during the tournament experience, that our players, families, they could, have this experience. The other group I want to thank is the Iup Media Relations, the communications department. They sent a crew to Sioux Falls to follow us, and it was amazing. It really connected us with everyone back home. And I think it connected everyone back home with us there. We really felt their love. We felt their encouragement. We weren't alone. And so I'm very thankful for that. And I'm also thankful for our fans who made the trip to Sioux Falls, and to the ones that got together here and had watch parties and, the emails and the texts and everything. That's just, I want everybody to know how grateful we are, and that we just really appreciated it and felt that encouragement, that support, and that love. It really uplifted us.
Really was something to behold from start to finish there up in Sioux Falls. Thank you for a tremendous season, and thank you for your time here, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next year.
Thank you, Tony. We always appreciate you.
And we'll be back in a few minutes with IUP's three seniors.